The world is not shaped by those who wait for change, but by those who stand up and make it happen. Dictators rise when people stay silent. Tyranny thrives when fear takes over courage. But history has shown no dictator is invincible, and no opposition is too great to overcome. The power to resist, to fight, and to break the chains of oppression lies within you. The greatest warriors of justice weren't born with swords in their hands or shields on their backs. They were just people, like you. People who refused to bow. People who dared to challenge the system. People who understood that true strength is not about physical power, it's about resilience, strategy, and the will to never surrender. So how do you fight back against dictatorship? How do you stand against those who try to silence you? Dictators rule through fear, but fear is only as strong as you allow it to be. When you train your mind to be unshaken, when you refuse to be manipulated, you become unstoppable. The greatest revolutions in history started in the mind of one individual who chose not to accept defeat. A single voice may be ignored, but a chorus of voices can shake empires. Strength lies in numbers. Find your allies, strengthen your network, and move with purpose. Divide and conquer is their tactic, but unity and strategy will always outplay oppression. Anger and frustration can be fuel, but only if used wisely. The opposition wants you to act recklessly. They want you to react without thinking. But the greatest warriors fight with precision. They strike when the time is right, not when emotions are high. Every resistance in history faced setbacks. Every great leader encountered failure. But the ones who changed the world were those who refused to quit, who stood back up, who kept fighting, not with blind rage, but with intelligence, with vision, with unshakable belief in their mission. The world does not belong to tyrants. It belongs to those who refuse to kneel. It belongs to those who rise. It belongs to you. When the weight of oppression feels unbearable, remember this: every wall built by tyranny is destined to crumble. No regime, no oppressive force, no dictator has ever outlasted the unwavering spirit of those who believe in freedom. You may not see victory immediately. The path will be hard and doubt will creep in. But resilience is forged in struggle. Every time you speak out, every time you refuse to comply with injustice, you weaken the grip of control. Do not underestimate the power of small actions. Revolutions are not born from grand gestures alone, but from countless moments of quiet defiance, choosing truth over lies, courage over comfort, and hope over despair. Your strength lies not just in fighting, but in enduring. Those who seek to dominate will try to exhaust you, to break your spirit. But remember, the human will, once awakened, is unstoppable. A single spark can ignite a movement. A single voice can inspire millions. You are not powerless. You are not alone. Look around, there are others, just like you, standing quietly, waiting for someone to lead, someone to remind them that the fight is not over. Be that reminder. Be that force. And when victory comes, as it always does, for those who persist, you'll stand not just as a survivor, but as a conqueror. You'll look back and know that you chose bravery over submission, action over silence, and hope over fear. Even when the night feels endless and the voices of doubt grow louder, remember this: darkness is always weakest before dawn. History has shown us time and time again that no oppressive force, no matter how powerful, can withstand the resilience of those who refuse to bow. The greatest victories were never handed down, they were earned by those who stood tall, spoke out, and kept moving forward when the odds were stacked against them. Think of the movements that reshaped the world. They began not with armies, but with ideas. Not with violence, but with courage. Courage is contagious. When one person stands up, it inspires another, and then another. What was once a solitary voice becomes a chorus, and that chorus becomes an unstoppable force. Oppressors thrive on isolation. They want you to feel alone, powerless, insignificant. But you are none of those things. You are part of something greater. Every act of defiance, every moment of truth spoken in the face of lies, chips away at the foundation of oppression. It may not crumble in a day, but brick by brick it weakens until it can no longer stand. Do not be discouraged by slow progress. The most powerful movements in history were not swift, they were relentless. The march toward justice is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And those who endure, who keep pushing forward despite fatigue and fear, are the ones who shape the future. Remember, silence is complicity. Every moment you speak out, every stand you take, sends a message that you will not be controlled, that you will not be broken. And when enough people send that message, the balance of power shifts. So hold your ground. Stay true to your principles. Know that the struggle is worth it, not just for you, but for those who come after you. Because every fight against oppression is a fight for future generations. In the end, it's not the tyrants who are remembered, it's the ones who stood against them, who fought with courage, wisdom, and resilience. The world changes because of people like you, people who decide that enough is enough and refuse to be silent. When the weight of oppression bears down, it's easy to believe the battle is too great, that the system is too powerful, and that your voice is too small. But history has proven otherwise. Every empire that seemed invincible has fallen. Every dictator who believed they could silence the people eventually faced the reality that power built on fear is fragile. The reason? Because oppression attacks the body, but it can never conquer the spirit. The human spirit, when fueled by purpose and courage, becomes unstoppable. It's the force that led nations to freedom, tore down walls once thought unbreakable, and inspired revolutions that changed the course of history. But courage alone is not enough. To truly master the art of resistance, you must pair your passion with strategy. Reckless anger is what tyrants expect. Thoughtful, deliberate action is what they fear. Educate yourself. Knowledge is your greatest weapon. When you understand the system you're fighting against, you expose its weaknesses. When you know your rights, your history, and your power, no one can manipulate you. Organize. No movement succeeds in isolation. Find like-minded individuals. Build communities of trust. Empower one another. Together, your voices will echo louder than any propaganda, and your unity will stand stronger than any wall. Stay disciplined. Resistance is not a moment, it's a movement. There will be days when progress seems invisible, when losses feel heavier than wins. But remember, every step forward, no matter how small, matters. Persistence wears down even the most fortified opposition. And above all, protect your hope. Hope is the lifeblood of every revolution. It's what kept people singing in the darkest cells, marching through tear gas and rebuilding after unimaginable loss. Hope is what reminds you why you started, why you must continue, and why victory is inevitable. Do not let fear paralyze you. Fear is the weapon of the oppressor, but courage is the shield of the free. When you stand firm, when you refuse to be silenced, you inspire others to do the same. One spark becomes a flame, and that flame can ignite a wildfire of change. And when victory finally comes, and it will come, you'll know it wasn't just the grand gestures that brought it forth. It was the daily acts of defiance, the quiet courage, the unyielding belief that right will always outlast might. So stand tall, speak truth, fight smart, and never forget the power to shape the future is not in the hands of those who seek to control, it's in the hands of those who refuse to be controlled. The world belongs to the brave. Be brave. The fight is yours to win. Like, comment, and subscribe.